me and Real Joe marriage on that list, right? The reverse.
Be careful what you say about that.
Well,
You got to be careful.
Listen. You know some of the people that hang out with us on the Facebook Live side and all of that, and they're none there going, "Yep, absolutely right. I'm never marrying Ray Gibson again."
Well, the next item on my list is not, and it's never going to happen again. It was night diving with John Gerber.
Oh,
because John Gerber had, as you know, had a twisted sense of humor.
Yeah.
And we were down at the bottom of Opera Harbor on the Tokai Maru about 11 o'clock at night, and he dropped the flashlight, which immediately shot up to the surface, and it's just a little white dot.
Uh-huh.
But you're in the blackest black you can ever imagine, and then all your fears. I knew Jaws was coming. I knew that every nightmare animal was coming after me in the Tokai Maru in the dark. And I have never done a night dive with John Gerber.
Oh my God! You were inside the Tokai Maru?
Yeah, we're inside the Tokai Maru, but
there's people that have died doing that.
Yeah, but there's a place there where we were in the hold, you know, and if you've ever been down there, you know the holds are wide open. So it wasn't
yeah. It's like being a fly swimming in a gymnasium. Thank you, no.
Yeah, but when that flashlight floated up to the surface, 135 feet above us, and all you can see is just a little white dot, and that's all you can see. You know, and then you have to. I went through 90 cubic feet of air on my way up.
Yep. Intense people, as a matter of fact. 9:37 in the morning. Golly, I miss John. Now they mention his name and wish that because every once in a while somebody try to push him in a direction of running for political office, and I wonder if Johnny was still alive at the age that he would be now, if it would be a good time to get in there, because he's one of these guys had a real limited capacity for BS.
Absolutely.
And I could just see him and folks like him in the legislature right now that would look at some of the things that they're going to be talking about next week when they go back into session and saying, you people are out of your minds. How much of next week's session is going to have anything in there that has any hope of changing anybody's life around here for the better? Or how much of it is going to end up being just, you know, more paper shuffling in the government of Guam for government of Guam employees?
Well, it's all going to be about government employees, but we're not getting away without anything. After all, Sabina Perez is going to see to it that we no longer have paper bags at our disposal when she gets her way. And
repeal and replace, for heaven's sakes. It's just paper bags for God. You know what? It literally grows on trees.
Yeah, but it goes back to the stupidity that this whole legislature circus is going through. And I mean, the fact that they outlawed biodegradable plastic bags, because remember, every store made a big deal about their biodegradable shopping bags, but we're now putting all the trash bags into the landfill. I haven't seen her come out with an anti-trash bag bill yet, but it's coming. I shouldn't have said anything. But, you know, next thing you know, they're going to be against boxes and then shopping carts.
I'm waiting. Before they get to that silliness, it'll be something about plastic bottles, single-use plastic bottles. That's all the rage in Hawaii right now. And you know how much we love to copy people in Hawaii. So I'm sure there's somebody out there trying to put that together to say, well, this is going to be my legacy. I will be the person that bans single-use plastic bottles and will only put 500 people out of jobs. 9:39 in the morning. If you want to get in front of that, get with Ken over the next couple of days, because you've got your little town halls everywhere starting tomorrow.
Yes, starting tomorrow at the Dedido Senior Center at 10 o'clock. And then University of Guam, Small Business and Professional Assembly Building, room 150 at noon. Then the Jonia Community Center at 2, and Megabyte Conference Room at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And at each one of those meetings, we're going to be highlighting a different aspect of how government is abusing the trust that we place in them with our votes, and how we as citizens can correct it. Because that's what the voter initiative process is all about, having citizens make common sense law. So instead of introducing a law that's going to ban paper bags, what we as citizens are going to do is introduce a law that's going to allow citizens to file charges against government officials for corruption. Because we know we can't wait for the Attorney General to do it, but everybody you know will tell you a story. And I mean, just the other day, someone was telling me a story about someone who got a building permit without having to go through the due process. Okay, that we all hear stories like that, or we hear about someone getting some special favor from government of Guam, like all those people that got commercial driver's licenses without having to take the test, or people who don't get tax bills, you know, or people who refuse to pay tax bills, and then we have a revenue and tax that will still issue a business license to a business that hasn't paid their taxes. But if you or I tried to renew our business license without paying our taxes, what do you think would happen?
Straight to jail.
Absolutely. So that's why we as citizens have 6 initiatives that if we pass them will make it easier for regular people, not just political, well-connected insiders, to get into the legislature and set policy for our island, because that's what we're short of, common sense. I mean, go back to the dumb hiker, dumb swimmer bill. I mean, it was what, $200,000 to print up pamphlets and booklets that say don't swim during rip tides and don't hike without notifying people where you're hiking. Or how about that incredible whole thing we went through with the plastic bags, but everything in the plastic bag is encased in plastic. And then we have the retroactive pay raises for policymakers, for senators and governors, but not for the employees. And we're going to do it again. We're going to spend $2 million just before Election Day telling people of Guam, if you vote for us, we'll give you a pay raise. And we're seeing that happen with the executive pay raises that are being handed out willy-nilly. And in the meantime, those of you who have businesses are being forced to shoulder a larger burden of the government's expenses.
Those of you with businesses are being forced into lines. A lot of people don't realize this is the time of the line. Yes, Eric the Eagle. We got to talk to that guy again soon. There is the wings thundering in the distance. We am out there. Is hope out there yet that somebody, the one person that all in government fear, Doug Moylan, might actually be taking up a position over at the Attorney General's office. All right, Ken, we played the music. I got to let you go. I want you to have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's Bowl.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, happy to help. You follow him on Facebook and the social medias. You can usually find him over on the Candid thing. And he'll be, is that patriotic music I hear? Yes, Colin. It'll happen from time to time, and usually with Ken on the line, where we might be treading into what sounds like soaring language there. And to the degree that it would be insensitive if I did it, some of the comments that came out of the governor's office yesterday, let me just say this. So those were some soaring words, and I'm sure that they brought some solace to some people who have lost so much in the COVID-19 times. 9:44 in the morning, 888-8255, 888-TALK. But lots of stuff on that we've talked about today, much of which has been remarked about and referred to in the Facebook Lives. Supervised release, and he actually left one state to get to another. Is that, what kind of supervision is that? That's Donna Mila asking, I think, a pretty interesting question about a guy whose story is in the front page of the newspaper. Ex-prison guard admits to going on drug binge. What? And so he was out on supervised relief, but he had this drug binge thing. Where was that? Vegas or someplace like that? Out in the States. So, being, talked to with John Gorman and cousin Mike here on Guam, where he's admitting to getting in trouble over there. And I'd say that maybe that we need to redefine, as we have with the words pandemic, endemic, immunity, vaccine. I think we need to redefine what we mean when we say. I think good point there, Donna. We got Jerome McDonald. Oh, some of these are old. Referring to Billy Joel's ex-wife. That was on the cover of Life magazine, Christy Bradley, and the stories there. Let me see.
Uptown Girl.
Carl Meyer. Aboard Asiana Air. Hey.
That's a decent price.
That's flight attendants, right? on that one, that
Yeah.
and I'm sorry. I sort of filtered on that one, but I think many people know exactly what I mean here. Let me see. Is Thailand and Cambodia only $100 more? Fine. What are the entry requirements for Thailand and Cambodia? Have they snapped back to their senses as well? Do I still need a vaccine? Let me see. What Colin wants to know. Whatever happened to that old lady that was a sex therapist? The little one, the little midget, literally the little old lady. I don't know. I don't keep up with her. Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Ruth.
There we go. Bonnie Suba. Okay, this is Bonnie Suba and Bo Shelley. In one of the hours that I did, I put up a picture of Cosmopolitan magazine. This one here comes to us in the timeline from February of 1982. This would have been wouldn't have meant a thing to me in 1982, because in 1982 I was 20 years old. But in 2022, as I look at this, now I'd like to get a copy of this magazine and read the article that they said, talking about the sexual aura of the powerful older man. Now, just so you know, I've Googled that kind of thing in the past, May December relationships and that kind of thing, just so I can continue to live with some degree of hope in my life. And I've Googled that in the past, and there seems to be, I don't know, I'd bring this up on Valentine's weekend. Oh, because it's in my head, that's why. But there seems to be kind of a push of one kind or another, probably put together by powerful older men, on the features and benefits of dating an older guy, somebody from a different generation, and in some cases, a couple of generations away from you, grew up, different lifestyle, different standards of all kinds of things, different standards of expectations of beauty, sexuality, that kind of thing, and they say, basically they're saying. And I'm wondering if this said it in 1982, that maybe that's what you need to target here as your life goal. Go ahead. You're having a good time in your 20s and your 30s or something like that. Great. But after about 35, you start buckling down. And anybody in your age group, any other member of the opposite sex in your age group, is an idiot. Right? Man bun, capri shorts wearing, beta male, soy latte drinking idiots. And so if you want real men, you're going to have to go and find guys that were born before, say, 1970. Right? Anything after that, you're taking your chances. And certainly anybody born after 2000, forget about it. Forget it. Two mask wearers. It's at 9:48 in the morning. Now who's on the phone?
It's Bistra.
Oh, Bistra, Rusinova, Mendiola.
Intelligent Bistra.
Yes. Oh, thanks so much for joining me. You're a breath of fresh air, and you always make me, when you call in, it kind of elevates the intelligence level of the program.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much.
Well, okay, now you got to live up to it.
Well, yes, of course. Well, I quickly wanted to jump in and kind of call out Dr. Bob on his wonderful statement that natural immunity is not all that it's cracked up to be. That's an actual quote from his statement yesterday. Our favorite department, DPHSS, and your favorite Chanel, they hosted a press conference yesterday.
The video. I've got the video. Can I play the video?
Oh, heck yeah.
Let's play this video. There was a conversation taking place over at, the Chanel was on, and she was on with a couple of the folks over at the Department of I'm talking around it because I didn't actually watch it. And then Haiti from over at the Guam Daily Post brought up the idea that, there was the pandemic of the unvaccinated. There were all these people that were told that it was the pandemic of the unvaccinated, and almost immediately Chanel began to walk back the story. This is what it sounded like.
Yep. Stated that this is the pandemic of the unvaccinated.
I also want to add, Heidi, that I don't think public health has ever stated that.
A pandemic of the unvaccinated.
I don't think those words were ever uttered by anybody at public health.
A pandemic of the unvaccinated.
The directors never said that. I've never said that. None of our deputy ICs never said that.
A pandemic of the unvaccinated.
Our CPHO at the time has never ever said those words. Nobody at public health has ever used those words, that line.
We are battling a pandemic of the unvaccinated. A pandemic of the unvaccinated.
Pretty clear.
In order to fully participate in society, you must do your part and get vaccinated.
And the mandates, Lou, is the graphic that you've got on this, and somebody else had typed in the pandemic of too much government, and we can only, and I assume that anybody listening to this broadcast is agreeing. It's enough now. Can we put aside the notion after 2 years that public health, the governor's office, physicians advisory group is going to come up with anything that really, honestly, is going to do anything more than just inconvenience people? Everything that has come out of the administration of Joe Biden has been a fabrication or contradictory to what eventually works out. And everybody says, well, it's unprecedented times and out of an abundance of caution, follow the science and do all of this stuff. Well, there's a whole lot of people that followed the science, and there's 40 of them at Guam Memorial Hospital right now, 50 of them, and most of them are vaccinated.
Yes. By the way, to come back to what Dr. Bob said in this press conference, he really dismissed the protection that people could get, should they get the natural infection. I cannot believe that these guys continuously dismiss a well-known fact. Everybody and their mom are currently studying what this COVID-19 does to immune system, and the findings are no different than first probably year in med school, 101 immunology. All immunologists know this. Our immune system learns how to fight and combat a new pathogen that enters, and we create memory cells that can combat the same pathogen should it enter again. Now, the protection against Omicron is different, yes, because it's mutated. However, 56% is the current top protection level you can get should you have all other variants and you happen to get the Omicron, and that is to develop a symptomatic disease. And the actual percentage against a severe disease and hospitalization is actually a 95% interval. So I'm sorry, people, what are we talking about again? We continuously want to shoot out the message that you need to get vaccinated because it's yes, sure, okay, but we now see that majority of folks that are getting reinfected are vaccinated. Majority of the folks that have been arriving, even recently, have been vaccinated. Dr. Ann said, well, they didn't even know that they're sick. Well, of course, what happened to dying of old age, people?
Oh, that's been outlawed. You're not allowed to die of old age.
Yeah, absolutely.
And nobody has ever died and then gone to the hospital before. That hardly ever happened. Never happened in history. Who was dead on arrival? How did we even come up with that acronym, DOA? It's never existed before.
Of course. And I really, really want to strongly encourage Dr. Bob, before he makes those kind of statements, to go ahead and probably come back to Immunology 101. I will gladly send him some links over YouTube that are, from the California University of California, for mere mortals like us, who want to learn. They're very nicely put together, very easy to digest. I want to send him those links so he can actually. Those were done like 5 years ago, so nothing to do with COVID. Okay.
Right. And that's a point that needs to be said. Is we already know how remarkable the immune system is that we've got around here. But even with COVID-19, and all the studies seem to be pointing in this direction, even if you are unvaccinated, if you're unvaccinated and you've been exposed to COVID-19, been positive for COVID-19, not only are you in better shape, not only you've got a degree of immunity because of that. Number one. Number two, your immune system is now stronger as a result of it. It has made the genetic change that our bodies have been making with our immune system since the beginning of time. It's making us stronger, and the vaccine doesn't do that.
Correct, and you know why? And let me tell you why. Because when you get a natural infection, your body gets exposed to the entire pathogen, not just a portion of it, which in the mRNA vaccines is the spike protein only. When you get a natural infection, your body meets the entire virus in its whole genome, and everything gets introduced, right? And what happened actually, now that they started to pay attention what our immune system does, they're studying it to produce in the future better vaccines. And it turns out that, one of the surprises for it shouldn't be a surprise, but anyways, they got surprised that the Johnson & Johnson vaccines, for example, elicits a weaker immune response than the mRNA vaccine initially, but then it actually starts to get better over time. And this is from, I believe, University of Arizona in Tucson. People from there, they were studying this, and they're really intrigued by this. But why? It shouldn't be a surprise, because when you get more parts of the virus, your body can recognize more parts of the virus, and your B-cell memory will remember that in the future. Yes, it's completely normal. Our bodies to wean, kind of the antigen to wean in a few months, but that's normal, because can you imagine what happens to an immune system gets bombarded constantly? You're going to get into super inflammation mode and you'll die. So it's completely normal reaction. And then once it weans down, should it encounter a new infection, then the memory B and T cells will kick in. And that's a completely known scientific fact, and I still cannot wrap it around my head. Why, Dr. Bob? Why?
Well, here's and people might be listening. Go, what's all this other COVID-19 BS science and whatever? Why is that important? It's important because one of the things that we have to do around here is get back to normality. It's my combined word, because I can never remember which one makes Bob Klitsky crazy. But at any rate, so we need to get back to normality around here. We've got to find a way to get some certainty in our lives, for our kids, for our families, for our businesses, for people that are hoping that they back the right pony when they move their families out here to Guam to make a start in their lives, as opposed to hearing from Millie Luana Fison tells me that they got a gallon of milk there for $1 something. Her electric bill is $80 or something like that, and the store shelves they're full. They're bustling with all of the things that they need out in Arizona. People will vote with their wallets and their feet, and that's why this is all important. That's why all of this stuff matters. Bistra, it's always a pleasure talking with you. I hope I have an opportunity. Happy Valentine's Bowl to you and TJ.
Oh, same to you. I hope you have someone special to spend your Valentine's, because I have 3 wonderful guys to spend it with.
Well, that's very, very interesting. As far as spending Valentine's with somebody special, does the waitress at Carabao count? Because they're going to be open on Monday. They're going to be open on Monday. Listen, I got to go. 9:58 and change. There's Bistro. My name is Ray. If you are running for political office, you've got 3 platforms in my mind. One of them is COVID-19. We've got to get out from under all of this stuff. Certainty needs to be restored as much as possible. The second one is the economy. The economy of Guam it's going to be headed into the toilet like everybody else's economy, but we're out here at the fringes of democracy and showbiz, so it's going to be worse for us than anybody else. Just take a look at the picture I showed you early. And the other one is crime. We've got to do something about crime. We need to send a message. I told you it's virtually every day. I am part of the MTM Village chat and the WhatsApp group, and virtually every day there is somebody posting a video of somebody just kind of meandering around the yard. Like, hey, whatever, never mind the sidewalk, never mind the street, just cut across my yard. You see something you like, go ahead and grab it. This guy walking around, what you don't hear is the family's alarm going off, and he's putting his shirt on and vamoosing in case he stumbled onto a family that has a gun on top of an alarm system. Gee, who do I know like that? It's just in front of 10 o'clock in the morning. Look, big crazy weekend ahead of us. If you see me out there after midnight somewhere, send me home. If you're hot, take me home. Happy Valentine's Bowl to you. We will be working on Valentine's morning. What we're going to talk about and who we're going to talk to, no clue. No idea whatsoever. It'll be a surprise for both of us. So catch us back here 6 o'clock on Monday morning. It's 10. Here's Fox News.
Launching an investigation. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The House Oversight Committee is looking into reported violations of the Presidential Records Act by former President Trump after boxes of records were found at his